I have that we're on page 143, the 14th day. O nobly born on the 14th day, the 4 female doorkeepers, also issuing from thine own brain, will come to shine upon thee. Again recognize. From the east quarter of thy brain will come to shine the white tiger-headed, goad-holding goddess, bearing a blood-filled skull bowl in her left hand. From the south, the yellow, sow-headed, noose-holding goddess. From the west, the red lion-headed, iron chain-holding goddess. And from the north, the green serpent-headed, bell-holding goddess. Thus issue the 4 female doorkeepers also from within thine own brain, and come to shine upon thee as tutelary deities. Recognize them. O nobly born, on the outer circle of these 30 wrathful deities, Herukas, the 28 various-headed mighty goddesses, bearing various weapons, issuing from within thine own brain, will come to shine upon thee. Fear that not. Recognize whatever shineth to be the thought forms of thine own intellectual faculties. At this vitally important time, recollect the select teachings of the Guru. O nobly born, there will dawn from the east the dark brown, yak-headed Rakshasa goddess, holding a dorja and a skull, and the reddish-yellow serpent-headed Brahma goddess, holding a lotus in her hand, and the greenish-black leopard-headed great goddess, holding a trident in her hand, and the blue monkey-headed goddess of inquisitiveness, holding a wheel, and the red snow-bare-handed virgin goddess, bearing a short spear in the hand, and the white bare-headed Indra goddess, holding an intestine noose in the hand. These, the 6 yoginis of the east, issuing from within the eastern quarter of thine own brain, will come to shine upon thee. Fear that not. I'm not going to read those footnotes. They're just about the manuscript stuff. O nobly born from the south will dawn the yellow bat-headed delight goddess, holding a shaving knife in the hand, and the red makara-headed peaceful goddess, holding an urn in the hand, and the red scorpion-headed amitra goddess, holding a lotus in the hand, and the white kite-headed moon goddess, holding a dorja in the hand, and the dark green fox-headed baton goddess, flourishing a club in the hand, and the yellowish-black tiger-headed Rakshasi, holding a blood-filled skull bowl in the hand. These, the 6 yoginis of the south, issuing from within the southern quarter of thine own brain, will come to shine upon thee. Fear that not. O nobly born, from the west will dawn the greenish-black vulture-headed eater goddess, holding a baton in the hand, and the red horse-headed delight goddess, holding a huge trunk of a corpse, and the white eagle-headed mighty goddess, holding a club in the hand, and the yellow dog-headed Rakshasi, holding a dorja in the hand, and a shaving knife, and cutting with this. And the red hoopoe-headed desire goddess, holding a bow and arrow in the hand, aimed. And the green...
Maybe that's where what's his name came from, the person on Valentine's Day.
Cupid.
Oh!
Cupid? No, what was that
From
one
the
again?
Hoopoo goddess.
A hoopoe-headed desire goddess,
Desire?
holding a bow and arrow in the hand, aimed.
Could that be
Good,
where,
yeah.
could that be
Very
where
good.
Cupid came from?
Could be. Hand me down.
And the green stag-headed wealth guardian goddess, holding an urn in the hand. These, the 6 yoginis of the west, issuing from within the western quarter of thine own brain, will come to shine upon thee. Fear that not. O nobly born, from the north will dawn the blue wolf-headed wind goddess, waving a pennant in the hand, and the red ibex-headed woman goddess, holding a pointed stake in the hand, and the black sow-headed sow goddess, holding a noose of fangs in the hand, and the red crow-headed thunderbolt goddess, holding an infant corpse in the hand, and the greenish-black elephant-headed big-nosed goddess, holding in the hand a big corpse and drinking blood from a skull, and the blue serpent-headed water goddess holding in the hand a serpent noose. These, the 6 yoginis of the north, issuing from within the northern quarter of thine own brain, will come to shine upon thee. Fear that not. O nobly born, the 4 yoginis of the door, issuing from within the brain, will come to shine upon thee. From the east, the black cuckoo-headed mystic goddess. She called the Dorja, or she called the mystic one, hence mystic goddess, holding an iron hook in the hand. From the south, the yellow goat-headed mystic goddess, holding a noose in the hand. From the west, the red lion-headed mystic goddess, holding an iron chain in the hand. And from the north, the greenish-black serpent-headed mystic goddess. These, the 4 door-keeping yoginis issuing from within the brain, will come to shine upon thee. Since these 28 mighty goddesses emanate from the bodily powers of Ratna Sambhava, he of the 6 Heruka deities recognized them. And I'm not going to read that either. It's just talking about the block print. It's just different manuscripts. O nobly born, the peaceful deities emanate from the voidness of the Dharmakaya. They are the emanations from the void or primordial, tranquil, unshaped aspect of the Dharmakaya state, viewing man as the microcosm of the macrocosm. Recognize them. From the radiance of the Dharmakaya emanate the wrathful deities. Recognize them. There's a footnote. They are the emanations from the active radiant aspect of the Dharmakaya state, the clear light shining in the primordial voidness. Man as the microcosm of the macrocosm, being inseparable from therefrom. At this time, when the 58 blood-drinking deities, symbolism of the blood-drinking should here be kept in mind, emanating from thine own brain, come to shine upon thee. If thou knowest them to be the radiances of thine own intellect, thou wilt merge in the state of at-one-ment into the body of the blood-drinking ones there and then, and obtain Buddhahood. O nobly born, by not recognizing now, and by fleeing from the deities out of fear, again sufferings will come to overpower thee. If this be not known, fear being begotten of the blood-drinking deities, one is awed and terrified and fainteth away. One's own thought forms turn into illusory appearances, and one wandereth into the samsara. If one be not awed and terrified, one will not wander into the samsara. Furthermore, the bodies of the largest of the peaceful and wrathful deities are equal in vastness to the limits of the heavens, the intermediate as big as Mount Meru. There's a footnote. Mount Meru is the central mystical mountain of Buddhist cosmography.
It's probably like the celestial planet, Kolob, to the Mormons.
Mm-hmm. The spinal column, the central support of the human bodily structure, is analogously symbolized in the Tantras and in works on yoga as the Mount Meru of man in the microcosm. The smallest equal to 18 bodies, such as thine own body, set one upon another. Be not terrified at that. Be not awed. If all existing phenomena shining forth as divine shapes and radiances be recognized to be the emanations of one's own intellect, Buddhahood will be obtained at that very instant of recognition. The saying, Buddhahood will be obtained in a moment of time, is that which applieth now. Bearing this in mind, one will obtain Buddhahood by merging in at-one-ment into the radiances and the kayas. O nobly born, whatever fearful and terrifying visions thou mayst see, recognize them to be thine own thought forms. O nobly born, if thou recognize not and be frightened, then all the peaceful deities will shine forth in the shape of Mahekala, commonly known in India as Mahekala. At this stage, all the illusory forms of the peaceful deities blend and appear as this one deity. And all the wrathful deities will shine forth in the form of Dharmaraja, the Lord of Death. Another footnote. As described here and in the second book of the Bardo Thodal, this illusory deity commonly assumes many and varied forms, capable of merging into a single form. and thine own thought forms, becoming illusions or maras, thou wilt wander into the samsara. O nobly born, if one recognize not one's own thought forms, however learned one may be in the scriptures, both sutras and tantras, although practicing religion for a kalpa, one obtaineth not Buddhahood. If one recognize one's own thought forms by one important art and by one word, Buddhahood is obtained. If one's thought forms be not recognized as soon as one dieth, the shapes of Dharmaraja, the Lord of Death, will shine forth on the Chonyad Bardo, the largest of the bodies of Dharmaraja, the Lord of Death, equaling the heavens in vastness. The intermediate, Mount Meru, the smallest, 18 times one's own body, will come filling the world's systems. They will come having their upper teeth biting the nether lip, their eyes glassy, their hairs tied up on the top of the head, big-bellied, narrow-waisted, holding a karmic record board in the hand. There's a footnote. Referring to a board, either a flogging board, such as that on which culprits are stretched and flogged in Tibet, or else, as here, a board written over with karma records of the deceased's life. Kram is the name given to a scroll of records or an inventory like a rent roll. Shing alone means wood. Hence, we may render the two words as wood register or record board. In the great Tibetan Arthurian-like saga called the Tibetan Kesardung, which is so much the popular saga of Tibet that many Tibetans know it by heart, a boy, 13 of age, who, when wishing to join in a battle, is held back by fond relatives, brushes them aside, saying, "The place of illness, the place of death, and the place of cremation are in accordance with the karmic register and the lords of death." And here the Tibetan word for register is kram. The verification of our rendering of this passage is important because, like other passages in the Bardo Thodol, particularly the closing related passage describing the judgment coming in the second book, it has striking correspondence with parts of the Egyptian Book of the Dead.
And that board they're talking about is right up there being held.
Like off.
Right. See it right there? He's writing on it with his pen on it. He's got it as a scroll in a tube, holding it vertically. The thing that's really interesting, then Christianity picks up the same story and puts it in the Bible 4,000 years after it came off of the writings here. And then these guys got it 1,500 years before Christianity. Anyway.
What's the forms in Christianity?
The records in heaven.
Oh, right. Okay.
You should have TM'd it or SM'd it or R'd it, huh?
Pardon?
It would be plagiarized.
Right, well, who knows, but it's funny that all the religions claim, you know,
Something.
and it all came from Egypt, or actually from that group of people. I don't know if it was Egypt, may have been before that, probably was.
In the hand, giving utterance from their mouth to sounds of strike, slay, licking human brain, drinking blood, tearing heads from corpses, tearing out the hearts. Thus will they come, filling the worlds. O nobly born, when such thought forms emanate, be thou not afraid nor terrified. The body which now thou possessest, being a mental body of karmic propensities, though slain and chopped to bits, cannot die. Because thy body is in reality one of voidness, thou needest not fear. The bodies of the Lord of Death, too, are emanations from the radiances of thine own intellect. They are not constituted of matter. Voidness cannot injure voidness. Beyond the emanations of thine own intellectual faculties, eternally the peaceful and the wrathful ones, the blood-drinking ones, the various-headed ones, the rainbow lights, the terrifying forms of the Lord of Death exist not in reality. Of this there is no doubt. Thus knowing this, all the fear and terror is self-dissipated, and merging in the state of at-one-ment, Buddhahood is obtained. If thou recognizest in that manner, exerting thy faith and affection towards the tutelary deities, and believing that they have come to receive thee amidst the ambuscades of the bardo, think. I take refuge in them, and remember the precious Trinity, exerting towards them the Trinity, fondness and faith.
Isn't that interesting? How the Trinity of the Buddha and his consort, and you're joining with them, is turned into the Trinity of Christianity 1,500 years later, after this was first written.
Whosoever thine own tutelary deity may be, recollect now, and calling him by name, pray thus. Alas, wandering am I in the bardo, run to my rescue. Uphold me by thy grace, O precious tutelary. Calling upon the name of thine own guru, pray thus. Alas, wandering am I in the bardo, rescue me. O let not thy grace forsake me. That sounds like the Lord,
That's right out. They took that
the song.
and put it in the Bible. Interesting, huh?
Have faith in the blood-drinking deities, too, and offer up this prayer. Alas, when I am wandering in the samsara through force of overpowering illusions, on the light path of the abandonment of fright, fear, and awe, may the bands of the Bhagavans, the peaceful and wrathful ones, lead me. May the bands of the wrathful goddesses, rich in space, be my rear guard, and save me from the fearful ambuscades of the bardo, and place me in the state of the perfectly enlightened Buddhas. When wandering alone, separated from dear friends, when the void forms of one's own thoughts are shining here, may the Buddhas, exerting the force of their grace, cause not to come the fear, awe, and terror in the bardo. When the 5 bright wisdom lights are shining here, may recognition come without dread and without awe. When the divine bodies of the peaceful and the wrathful are shining here, may the assurance of fearlessness be obtained and the bardo be recognized. When by the power of civil karma, misery is being tasted, may the tutelary deities dissipate the misery. When the natural sound of reality is reverberating like 1,000 thunders, may they be transmuted into the sounds of the 6 syllables. These are the essence mantras of the Shinrazi, being, it's pronounced Omani, they say Pei Hung. Shinrazi being the patron god or national tutelary deity of Tibet, and this being his mantra, its repetition, both in the human world and on the bardo plane, is credited with bringing to an end the cycle of rebirth, and thereby giving entrance into nirvana, hence its importance in the bardo prayer. In the Tibetan work called Mani Kabum, History of the Mani, this mantra is said to be the essence of all happiness, prosperity, and knowledge, and the great means of liberation. Also, it is said that the Om closes the door of rebirth among the gods. Ma, among the Asuras, or Titans. Ni, among mankind. Pe, among subhuman creatures. Mi, among Pretas, or unhappy ghosts. And Hung, among the inhabitants of hell. Accordingly, each of the 6 syllables is given the color of the light path corresponding to the 6 states of existence. Thus, Om, the white light path of the Devaloka, or world of the gods. Ma, the green light of the Asura Loka, or world of the Titans. Ni, the yellow light path of the Manoka Loka, or human world. Manaka Loka. Pe, the blue light path of the brute world. Me, the red light path of the Preta Loka, or ghost world. And Hung, the smoke-colored or black light path of the hell world. There is an old Tibetan folk tale concerning a religious devotee who tried to incline his irreligious mother to devotional observances, and merely succeeded in habituating her to the recitation of this mantra, her bad karma predominating over her good karma. At death she passed into the hell world, whereupon her son, being proficient in yoga, went to her rescue, and she, upon seeing him, was able, in virtue of having recited the mantra on earth, to recite it in hell, and instantaneously she and all who heard it were liberated from hell. For as the tale at its end teaches, such is the power of the mantra. The origin of this mantra is traceable through Tertone works concerning the introduction, during the 8th century of Tantric Buddhism into Tibet. Dr. Waddell is inclined to doubt that these Tertön works were hidden away then, in the time of the Padmasambhava, and in later centuries recovered as the Tertöns claim, and suggests that their compilation dates from the 14th to the 16th century, a tentative and possibly unsound theory. In any case, the mantra, at least by tradition, which originally is as reliable as recorded history, seems to have come into or been originated in Tibet contemporaneously with the introduction of Buddhism into Tibet. When unprotected karma having to be followed here, I beseech the gracious, compassionate one.
Just to interrupt for just a second, the colors that they talk about, the different states of human consciousness relate to how they're incarnated in this life, and you see it on when you teach your meditation. So true, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's amazing how everybody doesn't do anything about getting ready to die. It amazes me. You know? Just amazes me.
I beseech the gracious, compassionate one, that is Shenrazi, to protect me when suffering miseries of karmic propensities here. May the blissfulness of the clear light dawn. May the 5 elements, that is, earth, air, water, fire, and ether, not rise up as enemies, but may I behold the realms of the 5 orders of the enlightened ones. Thus, in earnest faith and humility, offer up the prayer, whereby all fears will vanish and Buddhahood in the Sambhogakaya will undoubtedly be won. Important is this. Being undistracted, repeat it in that manner 3 or even 7 times. However heavy the evil karma may be, and however weak the remaining karma may be, it is not possible that liberation will not be obtained if one but recognize. If nevertheless, despite everything done in these stages of the bardo, recognition is still not brought about, then, there being danger of one's wandering further into the 3rd bardo, called the Sitpa bardo, the setting face to face for that will be shown in detail hereinafter. The conclusion showing the fundamental importance of the bardo teachings. Whatever the religious practices of anyone may have been, whether extensive or limited, during the moments of death various misleading illusions occur, and hence this Thodol is indispensable. To those who have meditated much, the real truth dawneth as soon as the body and consciousness principle part. The acquiring of experience while living is important. They who have then recognized the true nature of their own being, or consciousness principle, and thus have had some experience, obtain great power during the bardo of the moments of death, when the clear light dawneth. Again, the meditation on the deities of the mystic path of the mantra, both in the visualizing and the perfecting stages while living, will be of great influence when the peaceful and wrathful visions dawn on the Chonyad bardo. Thus the training in this bardo being of particular importance even while living. There's a footnote. The following passage from the Book of the Craft of Dying. That what man that lusteth, and will gladly die well, and surely and meritorily, will without peril. He must take heed visibly, and study and learn diligently this craft of dying, and the dispositions thereof above said, while he is in the health, and not abide till the death entereth in him. That's in English, and it's almost more harder to translate. Okay. I mean, the other's been in English, but I mean, it's, you know. And thus have had some experience, obtained great power during the bardo of the... wait a minute. I'm on the footnote 2. Wait, I've got to find it. Oh, okay. Thus, the training in this bardo being of particular importance even while living, hold to it, read it, commit it to memory, bear it in mind properly, read it regularly thrice. Let the words and the meanings be very clear. It should be so that the words and the meanings will not be forgotten, even though 100 executioners were pursuing me. It is called the Great Liberation by hearing, because even those who have committed the 5 boundless sins, these are patricide, matricide, setting 2 religious bodies at war, killing a saint, and causing blood to flow from the body of a Buddha, are sure to be liberated if they hear it by the path of the ear. Therefore, read it in the midst of vast congregations. Disseminate it. Through having heard it once, even though one do not comprehend it, it will be remembered in the intermediate state without a word being omitted, for the intellect becometh ninefold more lucid there. Hence it should be proclaimed in the ears of all living persons. It should be read over the pillows of all persons who are ill. It should be read at the side of all corpses. It should be spread broadcast. Those who meet with this doctrine are indeed fortunate. Save for them who have accumulated such merit and absolved many obscurations, difficult it is it to meet with it. Even when met with, difficult is it to comprehend it. Liberation will be won through simply not disbelieving it upon hearing it. Therefore treat this doctrine very dearly. It is the essence of all doctrines. The setting face to face while experiencing reality in the intermediate state, called the teaching which liberateth by merely being heard, and that which liberateth by merely being attached, is finished. This is again. Okay, that's just another thing. Okay. Do we go on? Do you want to go on?
Oh, we better stop.
Okay.
Since we're starting into the Sippo Barlow. Book 2.
This is called the good head part of that call, the profound essence. Are you done? Can I close the